Hi, welcome back to my channel and let's jump right in to learn Tunisian full stitch. I'm using Aran weight yarn, CYC4, hobby store Aran yarn and a 7.5 regular crochet hook. So even though it is Tunisian crochet, since I'm going to be using just fewer number of stitches, I'm using a regular crochet hook to show you how to do the stitch. So I yarn around and make 10 chains so that I can show you how to work the stitch. So go ahead and make chain 10 so that we can learn how to make the Tunisian full stitch. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So now I've made the chain and I'm going to be working the foundation row on this chain. So normally we go into the top of the chain, but for this to have a neat aesthetic appearance, I'm going to work on the back bump of my foundation chain. So these are the tiny bumps into which I'm going to be working my foundation row. So flip the chain over and we'll start working. So insert the hook into the second bump or the second chain. Turn the chain over so you can see the bump. Insert the hook into the second bump, yarn over, pull up a loop. So the Tunisian crochet is done by having all the loops on the hook in the forward pass and taking off 2 loops at a time on the return pass. So insert, pull up a loop. Insert into the back bump, yarn over, pull up a loop. So if I look at it, I'll be able to see the neat chain-like appearance at my edge. So this gives a nice, neater border at the bottom of my work. And it's not a must that you have to go into the back bump. It's purely an aesthetic appeal. So if you're comfortable just making into the top chain and then adding a border around the entire piece, that is also something that you can try. So insert into the back bump. In this case, I'm doing the back bump. Insert, yarn over, pull up a loop. One more chain left. Insert, yarn over, pull up a loop. So Tunisian crochet, you start with, you have the number of loops exactly as the number of starting chain. So I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So I started with 10 chain. That leaves me 10 loops on the hook. Now return pass, I yarn over and take off 1 loop for the first left side. And then subsequently, I'll be yarning over and taking off 2 loops at a time. Yarn over, take off 2, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Again, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. Continue till you have 1 loop on the hook, and that 1 loop will be your first loop for the next row. Okay, so here, normally in regular crochet, the loop on the hook is not counted, but in Tunisian, it is going to be counted. So we use this as the foundation row for doing our Tunisian stitches. And I make sure that I count at the end of the row and ensure that I have the same number of stitches that I started with. Now, for the Tunisian full stitch, the easiest of the lot, I'm going to be working in between the stitches, in between them, not through the stitch, not under the stitch, in between, the gap between them. So I insert the hook front to back in the gap between the first and the second stitch. So if you notice, you have a horizontal chain at the top, and I'm going to go under that chain. Under that chain, yarn over, pull up a loop. So I'm just going to be working in the gaps. Yarn over, pull up a loop. Insert front to back, yarn over, pull up a loop. Insert, yarn over, pull up a loop. Insert, yarn over, pull up a loop. This is the easiest of the Tunisian stitches and it gives a very nice texture because we are going to be alternating the rows. So now I count and I find that I already have 9 stitches. So I don't go into the last, but I go into the last stitch where I make the edge stitch. I don't go to the last space. Yarn over, take off 1. Now return pass, yarn over, take off 2 loops, yarn over, take off 2 loops, and continue this process till I come back to the beginning of the row and I have 1 loop left on my hook. Yarn over, remove 2. Yarn over, remove 2. Yarn over, remove 2. Yarn over, remove 2. So this is your Tunisian full stitch. The next row, I'm not going to go between the first and the second. Instead, I'm going to go between the second and the third. In the gap between the 2 stitches, front to back, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. Insert, yarn over, pull up a loop. Insert, front to back, yarn over, pull up a loop. Insert, pull up a loop. Now I go into the last space. So in the first row, I omitted the last space. In the next row, I go into the last space, and then the last is the edge stitch as normal. Yarn over, pull through 1. I can adjust, just adjusting the yarn so that it flows freely. Yarn over, pull through 1 loop. Yarn over, pull through 1. Yarn over, pull through 2. 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 Repeat it all the way till you come to the end of the row. And you will be left with 1 loop on the hook, and that will be considered as the first loop for the next row. So you can see how the stitches are alternating. So now I go between the first and the second. So in one row, you go between the first and the second. You start by going between the first and the second. In the next row, you start by going between the second and the third. So if you're going between the first and the second, you will skip the last space. If you're going between the second and the third, you'll work into the last space. So this creates a staggered stitch, which gives a very nice appearance. And don't forget the edge stitch. Take 2 loops and pull up a loop. So yarn over, take off 1 loop at the end. Yarn over, take off 2. Yarn over, take off 2 again. And continue this till you reach the end of the row. And I'll show you how the stitch looks at the end of the third row. This gives a really nice stitch. The definition is very good and perfect for making scarves. So you can see how the stitches are staggering. They are staggered, they are alternating, and it creates a very nice texture for your crochet, Tunisian crochet. So let's do a few more rows and come back to see how I bind off Tunisian full stitch. Normally, I would go into the space because that's how I do the stitch, but I don't do it that way because I want the stitch structure to remain. So I go on the top side horizontal bar, the loop that is closest to you. There's a horizontal bar in front of you between the stitches. That one, that's your horizontal bar. Insert, pull through that, and the loop on the hook. So insert, pull through that loop and the loop on the hook. So this creates a neater edge rather than going through the gap to create a full stitch slip stitch. So it's a quite a mouthful to say that. So I hope you understand what I'm doing. I go into the horizontal stitch, that is the loop closest to you, the loop that is closest to you, insert hook, yarn over, pull through that, and the loop on the hook. Insert, yarn over, pull through both the loops. So in this case, I do not go into the edge stitch. I again have gone through the horizontal bar to finish my stitch. Now I've gone through the edge stitch to complete it. So this is your Tunisian full stitch. and I love the texture. Now let's also see how to make the Tunisian honeycomb in the next video.